What is good, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. I'm your host Joshua from Ray's Reviews, and in today's video, this is like my first proper pitch video. If you saw a video I did a couple like a month, like almost 2 months ago, where I pretty much gave my pitch of how I would rework the finale of Secret Invasion. That was me kind of giving a prelude to what I would do for a pitch for my own version of a Armor Wars film. And if you don't know what Armor Wars is, it was originally meant to be a Disney Plus series, but it's now turned into a film, starring Don Cheadle as James Rhodes, aka War Machine, pretty much going up against people who have Stark Tech, pretty much. And it's based on the Armor Wars storyline where Tony Stark's greatest fear came to pass, which was what if Stark technology got into the wrong hands. Now, this has been a project that I've been wanting to... This has been something I've been working on for a while, but I just never got the right time to do it. But I thought, all right, I have the time to do it. So I have pretty much a short version of what my pitch would be for the entire film. If you pretty much saw how I did my Flash reworking, that's pretty much how I'm doing it here, where I have like my whole setup right here. I'm looking at my computer right now, and I have the whole setup set. And yeah, so without any more wasting time, without any more dilly-dallying, so to speak, let's get into it. But make sure you guys hit the subscribe button and hit the bell icon so you never miss another one of my videos. We're getting so close to 100 subscribers, so I really hope we get to that by the end of the year. Let's go. Alright, so without further ado, let's get into it. So, Act 1 of Armor Wars, the film will open up with a flashback of Rhodey right after we see him in his little scene in The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, after he says goodbye to Sam, and after Sam gave away the shield. And we see him in his car, and he looks at a photo of him and Tony. And as the car stops, Rhodey is very confused, and it's revealed that his driver is the Skrull Rava, the Skrull who impersonated as Rhodey in Secret Invasion. So and she knocks him out, and she takes his place. Now, this was a scene that I felt like was absolutely necessary to be the first scene of the film, mainly due to the fact that it was confirmed that the events of Secret Invasion would lead into Armor Wars, which was based from Secret Invasion. The only way that could have happened is because of how the finale was. But if you saw my reworking of the Secret Invasion finale, you know that I said that Rhodey was not taken as a Skrull during Civil War. He would have been taken after the events, after Falcon and Winter Soldier, because I feel like that's like the best time for him to be taken. So yeah, so I'm pretty much having that here because in my mind it is so stupid to have Rhodey be taken during the events of Civil War. So yeah, so in my version of the continuity, Rhodey would have been taken after the event, after his little appearance in Falcon and Winter Soldier, and now he's been taken by Rava. So then the Marvel title screen comes up and cuts to present day, and it's been 3 months after the events of Secret Invasion, and Rhodey sees on the news that President Ritson has been making a speech about the hunting of Skrulls and how it's pretty much led to the death of Skrulls, but also to the death of innocent people who were thought to be Skrulls but were not. Rhodey is pretty much having an internal process of how bad things have gotten when it comes to the whole Skrull situation, and he gets a call from Joaquin Torres, and pretty much saying that an army base that's near him is being attacked. So Rhodey decides to go fight the threat, which is actually a villain in comics known as the Blizzard, who is a villain that I've wanted to see in the MCU for a while now. So I think here would be a good place to put him, to be like a little nod to the comics and a little character to show up. So we have a fight scene between War Machine and Blizzard, and the fight ends with obviously War Machine winning, and him seeing that the tech that Blizzard has is old Stark tech, because he recognizes that Tony was working on ice blasters for the military. So after the fight, he goes to see his old friend Happy Hogan, and Rhodey explains what happened with Blizzard, and Happy explains that after Tony passed, pretty much all Stark tech was up for grabs. It was given to Spider-Man, and we all know how that went, and it was given to the government, and Rhodey considers that it's possible that Blizzard just stole it from an old outpost, and Happy brings up the conversation of Rhodey's father, and Rhodey is kind of like, he hasn't really spoken to his father in a while. One thing that I am adding to this film is Rhodey's family, because like that's something, when it comes to all the characters in the MCU that, like from Endgame at least, Rhodey is the one that we have not gotten any backstory on. He's a character that we do not know too much about. So for this film, we're going to give him some backstory. We're going to learn more about him, his background, his family, and we learn that his father and his niece are still around. So he goes to see them. He goes to see his niece Lila and his father Terrence. And throughout the whole conversation that he has with his father, we learn a couple things. We learned that one, his father was not happy with Rhodey that he enlisted into the army. Two, he was furious at Rhodey for ever thinking of becoming a superhero and what happened to Rhodey in the events of war, because he never really trusted Stark. He never liked Stark. And the thing that really not necessarily cracked the straw, but like broke the camel's back with their relationship, is that he absolutely hated that while Rhodey was out being a superhero and trying to protect the world, he couldn't be there for his family when his mother and sister passed away, and that's what led to his father taking custody of Lila, who in this thing is roughly like 7 or 8 years old in this film. So Rhodey pretty much leaves the house, and Rhodey's just really thinking about how bad his relationship with his father, and he has a flashback of happier times with his mother and sister, and how it was revealed that during the blip, his mother and sister were in a car accident that led to their death. So then after that, Rhodey gets a notification saying that Rhodey is sort of invited to a Hammer convention led by Justin Hammer. Rhodey is very confused by this, and he decides to go investigate. So then we cut to Act 2, where Rhodey arrives at the Hammer convention in Miami, and we see Sam Rockwell return as Justin Hammer, and he is there to introduce this so-called Iron Army that he's working on, that President Ritson, in a way, kind of assigned him to build an army to hunt that would be easier to hunt down the Skrulls. While at the convention, Rhodey runs into an old friend of his named Walter Newell, who will be played by Andy Samberg. You'll understand why once we get more into that character. And they interact with each other until the convention is interrupted by a giant suit of armor that was made of Stark tech, and it pseudo attacks the convention. Everyone's scared. Hammer's trying to calm everyone down, but it's pretty much the Detroit steel armor, and Rhodey suits up and goes to fight it, and it kind of whoops Rhodey's ass, but not entirely. And Rhodey goes to adjust the president and pretty much tell him that he can't trust Justin Hammer, because if you've seen Iron Man 2, you know that Hammer's technology is not that good. It's not that impressive in any way compared to like Stark technology. But the president absolutely ignores him, saying something along the lines of that Stark is dead, and because his tech is dead as well, Hammer's the best option that he has. So he tasks Hammer to figure out what happened to the Detroit steel armor and why did it go haywire. And Rhodey is very furious about this, but he tries to figure out what is going on with Stark technology and how is it getting worse. We then cut to Walter Newell in his own office, and he's a marine biologist, and he gets attacked by another iron suit that has the capability of shooting fire blasts from its suit. So as a way of protection, Walter puts on his own suit that he has called the Stingray suit. Now, if you know who Stingray is in the comics, this is pretty much the same character, but he's another character that I kind of wanted to see in the MCU for a while, so I think now in this film would be the best way to introduce him. So we see the two fight each other, and it ends with War Machine coming in and taking the final blow, taking out the iron suit, the fire blaster. And Walter explains to Rhodey that he put together a suit made out of old Stark tech and built it so that it could allow him to travel through water, but also a nice perk of it is that when he's in the water, the suit is able to absorb water, and when he's out in land and stuff, he can redistribute that water into water blasts or like pseudo water melee weapons. The variety of wateristic weaponry is kinda not too much, but it's still in that realm where it's like, okay, he's a formidable foe. He has a formidable fighting style and fighting weapons. And when he finds out about this, Rhodey is glad that at least some form of Stark technology is being used for good, because as you've seen this entire movie, the Stark technology has just been used for bad. It's been used to hurt people. Rhodey decides to go visit Pepper Potts, so we'll see Gwyneth Paltrow return for like a little small cameo, just ask her about her opinion of all this, and Pepper tells Rhodey that Tony spent a lot of time regretting the tech he had sold when he became Iron Man, and she pretty much tells Rhodey that he has to finish what Tony started, which is pretty much to stop Stark technology from being used for bad and have it be used for good. Then we cut into Act 3, where thanks to Happy, Rhodey finds out that Hammer's going to be hosting a convention where he will display the full set of the first Iron Army. He calls Walter, and the two of them go to the convention to see if they can try to stop Hammer from launching the Iron Army. And they run into Riri Williams, who, again, a character that I feel like should realistically appear in the real film whenever that film gets released and made. So I feel like Riri Williams should make a scene in this film. And so yeah, so she's in this movie in my pitch, and hopefully she's in the actual film. And she informs them that she knows that Hammer has been distributing suits and pieces of Stark technology to criminals. So that's how people like Blizzard was able to get the tech. And the reason why he's doing this is to pretty much discredit the Stark legacy. Rhodey asks how she knows this, and she pretty much explains to her that a few months ago, Hammer came to her and said that if pretty much tried to sell the fact that why am I blanking? He pretty much came to her to sell on the fact that he wants to use her ability of creating the Iron Heart suit to pretty much help build the Hammer tech armors. And obviously she says no, and because of that, she recorded the whole conversation, and she pretty much decided that she's going to upload it to the internet and expose Hammer for the fraud that he is. And Walter suggests that they hack into the systems of the whole stadium, of the convention stadium, and properly expose Hammer. Rhodey agrees to this, and the trio do this while Hammer showing off the Iron Army that can hunt down Skrulls and can hunt down superpowered individuals that are against the law, pretty much. So when this happens, when Hammer is exposed, Hammer's upset and brings out the Detroit Steel armor and gets into it and controls the entire Iron Army to pretty much kill anyone and everyone he believes is a Skrull. So the trio suit up, so it's War Machine, Stingray, and Ironheart. Three of them team up, and War Machine faces Detroit Steel while Ironheart and Stingray fight off the Iron Army. Rhodey faces Detroit Steel and in the end defeats him, saying that Tony's tech didn't work because he was smarter than Hammer. It worked because they were more reliable, which I think is something that was kind of touched upon in Iron Man 2, but something I feel like is kind of like a message in this one, where Stark's tech worked because Stark cared about other people. Hammer doesn't really care about other people. He only cared about himself and making a big name for himself. That's what set them two apart. That's what made Stark's technology work, and that's what made Hammer's technology not work, made it unreliable. So the film pretty much ends with Rhodey making amends with his father and pretty much, in a way, accepting Tony's death and like feeling that he made Tony proud by almost finishing what Tony started, and pretty much started dedicating himself to hunting down anyone who is using Stark technology for bad purposes and just taking them out and just leaving Stark technology to the legacy that it was, which was Stark sacrificing himself to save the universe from Thanos. There is a post-credit scene, however, where we see Hammer on the rats, and we see Contessa Valentina Allegra de Fontaine, played by Julia Louis-Dreyfus, come in and pretty much tell Hammer that she is upset that his project didn't work, but she has some ideas of how she can help him and how he can help her, and that is pretty much a tease for him being a part of the Thunderbolts, which I do feel like if Armor Wars comes out before Thunderbolts, which realistically I don't see happening, but if it does, then that could be a good way to bring in that could be a good way to bring in Detroit Steel onto the team, because I know for a fact that a lot of people are complaining about the team lineup, which me personally I really love the team lineup for Thunderbolts. But anyway, that is my pitch for Armor Wars. Let me know down in the comments what you thought of it. Do you have any nitpicks? Do you like it? Did you disagree with some of my opinion, well, some of my choices with the villain, with the actors, and all that stuff? Let me know down in the comments again what you thought. I'm trying to get this channel to 100 subscribers. The growth has been really insane recently, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm Joshua from Rays Reviews, and I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.